Hello there. My name is Relo Kai with Butcherbird Productions. It's been a while since I've been on camera. When was the last time I was on camera? The last time you saw my face was the Shadow of the Erdtree community post, so not too long ago. But in a video, it would have been October of last year. So yeah, my hair's a bit longer. I've been growing it out, so I've been doing some IRL stuff. I haven't been putting out as much videos. I'll get into that. Safe to say that the channel's slowed down quite a bit, although I used to only do like once a month. Now it's like not that much, but so I have to come clean. I have promised too much and I have delivered too little. And I have 54 subscribers at this point. So you guys that are here, thanks. I appreciate every single one of you. So this isn't maybe as important as a big channel, but I do want to get into it for those of you who have been with me since the beginning. So, what have I promised that I have not delivered on? If you look at this list, these are the things that I have said I would do in either a community post or in a video, or I've teased somehow, and I have not done yet. These are the ones that will not be happening, which you can see is most of them. And the rest of them are, I would like to do them, but they will be happening eventually, TM. So, yeah. Safe to say, this stuff is either not going to happen or it's not happening for a while. And I want to explain what's going on with that, because it's a me thing. You guys are great. It's a me thing. So I have newly diagnosed ADHD. I know, YouTuber has ADHD, that's crazy. And to give you an idea of what my concentration is like on a project, the best description I can give to you is I am a squirrel with a gun. And as a squirrel with a gun, I focus on different stuff very quickly and move between them very quickly. And when I find a project that I want to work on, I shoot my shot, and if it finishes the project off, great. If it doesn't, I move on to the next one and shoot a different one. I take one shot, and then I move on. And whether or not that project gets finished, that's kind of up to how quickly I can do it and how much motivation I end up having on it. And I don't know if any of you guys can relate to this, but apparently it's a very common thing. There's a book that I've been told to read called The 5-Second Rule. Basically, it talks about if you think about doing something, you have to start doing it in the first 5 seconds. Otherwise, it will not get done. And that is very true for me. That's a me problem. I gotta work on it, So that's the main thing, is the squirrel with a gun. The second thing is when I promise you guys I'm going to do something, or I say I'm going to do something, before that promise, my motivation's up here to do it. As soon as I tell you guys what I'm working on, that motivation drops by about half. And that tends to end a lot of projects right there. And that happened with basically everything I scratched out on this list. I'm going to go through them real quick. The Armored Core 6 shorts, the Boss Rush Game Jam stream highlights, both of those I'm going to get into later about streaming. The Blender Builds video for the Drifter Walk Cycle short. I did mention I wanted to do a Blender Builds video on it, and I think it might still be in the description. So what happened was I got the footage all chopped up and sped up to how I wanted it. And then I recorded audio, and I got to the point where I was clipping up my voice lines, and I think I clipped some of them, but I didn't quite finish all of it. I got very demotivated with the audio design, and I'll get into that later in the video. So basically, I lost motivation to do that video, and I'll explain that later. And the last thing, let's just say that I don't plan on posting every month anymore. I'm just going to post whenever I feel like it. So all this is to say, going forward, just for myself, for the content, and for you guys, I am not going to promise anything in advance. I'm just going to put things out there when they're done. And if you catch me promising something in advance, take that as a I would like to do it, not a I will do it. Because knowing me, I could very well turn around and not do it. So that just being real with you guys. So yeah. And like on that note, instead of saying I will do something, I'm going to say I want to do something. That's just phrasing, but it's important. If I say I will do something, I will try my darndest to do it. But for the most part, 99% of the time, I'm just going to say I want to do something. As for posting random progress on stuff, I will do it still. I like doing community posts and just keeping you guys updated on little things I'm doing. Community posts is a great way for me to keep making content while I'm not putting out a full video. So also do that. I know some people don't like community posts in their feed. I'm sorry. I'm not going to do it every day. Like I've thought about doing that for a while. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to keep it low on the scale. And I'm not going to clog up your feed with a community post and a video. I don't like that either. So I'm not going to do that. And then here's the other thing. I want to talk about streaming. So if I stream something live, I will not be doing highlights of the stream. And the reason for that is a lot of times when I finish a project, and this goes for regular videos too, a lot of times if I finish a project or a stream, I'm kind of just done with it. It's out there, I'm done with it, I want to move on. And making highlights of the stream forces me to go back and spend several days chopping it up and turning it into yet another video that would probably be half-assed and would not be great. Me personally, I don't watch streams. They're too long for me. I don't have the time. I prefer short, like 18-minute highlight videos. That's my content preference. And I'm sure a lot of you guys are the same way. I try not to make my videos over 20 minutes long, or Lord forbid, 25 minutes long. I think that's too long. So if I do make a highlight video, it's going to be under 20 minutes. So because that extra work to put into something that's already out there, I don't feel compelled to do that. So yeah. So then what am I going to do instead of streaming? This is something I want to do. I've been having a lot of playthrough ideas for old video games that I was really into. I want to call it a nostalgia playthrough. I wanted to play through old video games from my childhood on original hardware, because I did actually get a capture card, with a mixture of self-imposed challenges, and saying I want to play this how I did when I was a kid. And I have a couple ideas for games I want to do, but I don't think I'm going to stream them. What I'm going to do is I'm going to record myself playing them. I'm obviously going to be talking through what I'm doing and reacting and stuff, but I'm not going to stream that. And then because it's not out there yet, I think I will have the motivation to chop it up and put it out. That's what I'm thinking with that. And maybe the recording myself with no audience might seem weird to you guys. But for me, not having it just out there immediately makes me want to cut it up and actually make a good video out of it. And I think you ask any streamer who's sound of mind, they'll tell you that streaming is not a simple just play a game and turn on recording. It's not like that. For me, it's like I have to put on a show for you guys. I have to constantly be watching chat. I have to be engaged and saying shit the whole time. My first stream, the Armored Core 6 stream, which you can go watch on the Bridge Production Streams channel, I got sick with COVID during that stream because I was talking so much, but I was coming down with it on stream. So, yeah, it's not easy. And I had nobody in that stream. So, yeah, it's hard work. Harder than you think. And I think just having the social interaction taken out of it, that, like, frees me up to maybe do a couple takes of some recordings that I want to do during it. Like, if there's downtime in the game and I want to talk about something for the playthrough, I can do several takes of it and get it right the first time. Go from there. That's what I'm thinking for future playthroughs. And like I said, this is all something I want to do. And obviously I might post like small clips of me doing something stupid, but yeah. So that's all the stuff about broken promises, streaming, all that stuff. So now there's 3 big things I want to talk about. And the first one is the Blender builds videos. I know a lot of you guys have subscribed for the Blender Builds videos, specifically from the Blender Builds trench coat video. Before I tell you what's going to be happening with those, I want to tell you a little bit about the process of me making those videos. So I'm going to make sure I get this right. I'm going to go to the Blender Builds trench coat video, footage I have for it. I'm going to tell you how long it took me to make this video. Oh god, I did not number them in order. My file naming convention has gotten so much better over the years. Holy shit, this is bad. Oh my god. It took me 2 days, over 8.5 hours, to make that video. I believe it took me 3 to 4 days to edit that 2 days worth of footage. It took me longer to edit the video than it did to actually record it and make the actual build. And I want you to think about that. I am doubling or tripling my work to make a Blender Builds video. And this is not just for the trench coat video. This is for every single Blender Builds video. I'm doubling my work to make making a video. My original idea with Blender Builds was to do a Blender Builds video for every animation I made. That's a lot of work, and like I said earlier, when I'm done with a project, animation, stream, whatever, I'm done with it. I don't want to touch it again. I want to move on. Forcing myself to make a Blender Builds video for every single thing I make is ridiculous. And I love the format. I love the way it turns out. I love that I can teach people about Blender and just the stuff I do. But I just don't think the Blender Builds videos are the way to do it. I'm sorry. If you subscribe for the Blender Builds videos, I cannot promise at this point in time that I'm going to make any more. However, I have found a good alternative that I really like. In the Leveling Paladin during Spooky Month video, not the short, the actual video. The actual animation was like 15 seconds. It was really short. I had about a 2-minute after section where I just had music playing and I showed you guys how the scene worked. And I think that's a good alternative that I personally really enjoy, and it's a lot less work. I probably did 15 minutes of recording of me just fooling around with the scene, showing how stuff worked, and I put it in at the end of the video. And I think that works really well. The downside is that you don't see the whole process of me making it, which I know a lot of people want to see. And unfortunately, there's a lot of things wrong with that. I already mentioned the editing. And 2, the hard drive space. Time lapses don't take up too much space on my hard drive, but if I'm going to be making time lapses for almost every animation, that's going to take up more hard drive space than the actual animation. So it's just not feasible in the long run. And the other thing, which kind of ties back into the streaming thing, if I want to work on something, I want to work on it. And just the act of pulling up OBS to start a time-lapse recording sometimes prevents me from working on it. That extra pressure to do things right or just be in front of people, I guess, live is stressful, I mean, it's like being a public speaker. It's stressful. So, yeah, I haven't recorded time lapses for any animation or any video really since the Drifter walk cycle test. So, the animation that just came out today does not have any time lapse footage on it. Hopefully, I have added a behind the scenes segment at the end of that. Hopefully, you enjoy that. So, yeah, Blender Builds is probably not going to be a thing anymore. And like I said, if you subscribe for that, I'm really sorry, but it's just not feasible for me to keep doing them. There is an exception, though. I want to talk about that. So there's an animation I've been working on and off since, I believe it was September of 2022. I'm sorry, it was October. I've put about 50 to 60 hours of work into it. And I teased it all the way back in February of last year, 2023, at the end of the dual GPU video. There's so many wrong sayings that computer build is bad, but anyway, this is the teaser. So if you know anything about meme culture, obviously it's a rules of nature video. And if you look closely, it is Susano from Final Fantasy XIV. If you know, you know. I was surprised that nobody had made an animation for it yet. I called this animation the Rules of Susano. And like I said, I started in September of 2022 when this was like a big craze. NCH made a video for Monster Hunter. There's a couple other animators who did videos that I follow, and they were all fantastic. I immediately started working on it. I worked on it for like a week or two. At the time, I finished the grabbing the sword, the running up the sword, the slashing, the cut down, and the landing. I had finished all of that. And then I wanted to add a beginning and an end, an easy fade in, fade out. And if you know any of my animations, I like to have a soft intro and a soft outro. A complete like kind of story. So I didn't want to just cut to Twilight catching the sword, running up, slashing down, and landing, and then cut out. I didn't want to do that. That didn't make sense to me. So I started working on that. Keep in mind, the main portion of the video is done. My original idea for the intro was I have a full party of 8. They're all standing there, they're preparing for the big strike down. Basically, the two tanks are fighting over it. They fight over it too long. The DPS comes in, steals it, and catches the sword. You know, whatever. The thing that stopped me, motivating me from working on it, was the two tanks were pushing against each other in like this, like, shoving each other out of the way. Just the prospect of animating that was just overwhelming to the extreme. And so I churned on doing this for like months. By the time I got back to working on it, I think it was literally September of next year. I finally figured out that what I wanted to do instead was I decided to just drop the full party and make it a tank and a DPS. And it kind of tied into like an overarching story I have in my head for Twilight's version of the world of Final Fantasy XIV. You'll see that in later videos, I think. I want to show that in later videos. So there's a different version of it now. It's just Twilight and the Warrior of Light, and that took a big weight off my shoulders. I animated a whole bunch more of it, and I added in the environment around it. So before, I didn't know how to import Final Fantasy XIV environments. I do now. And then I realized that the way Twilight throws Susano, because she throws both the sword and Susano, I realized that the arena was too small, and I couldn't really scale it up anymore. Just talking about it, I'm getting ideas of how maybe I could fix it. It's the rubber ducky programming literally happening to me in real time. I have an idea for how I might fix it. Not promising anything anytime soon. Anyway, I got frustrated because the environment was blocking the throw. I started working on how to fix that. I got overwhelmed. I stopped working on it. Last time I worked on it was March of this year, March 2024. So it is now August 6th. I've not worked on it since. There's still a lot of stuff I want to do to it. There's a whole bunch of like lightning effects I want to do. I basically want it to be a show off of all my animation skills and how far I've come in the however many years it took me since starting out. I really want to get this video done. I don't know when it's going to be done, but since I just got the idea for how to fix the thing, I might actually get it done sometime soon. Why did I mention Rules of Susano after Blender Builds? I've been recording my work on Rules of Susano ever since I started working on it. It's one of the first things I started recording a Blender Builds video for. And it really is a showcase of my workflow and my animation skill throughout the several years I've been animating. So, Rules of Susano, whenever it comes out, the Blender Builds video for it will come out the same time and day. And you can check that out. That's the only Blender Builds video I have planned. All the rest of my animations are going to have a little behind-the-scenes 2-minute thing at the end of them. That's my main plan. All that being said, I've been teasing it for a while. I've said I'm working on a big animation. That's the animation, Rules of Susano. Coming eventually TM. I want to work on other animations before I work on Rules of Susano. I have more ideas for shorter animations. Maybe I'll work on Rules of Susano in between them in the meantime. That's the story on that. Final big thing is the game I've been working on, which the working title is City of Neon. I've been posting progress on it, showing you guys off gameplay. You know, it's still in very, like, not even, like, pre-alpha. And I want to get into what's going on with that. I have not posted about it in a while, and unfortunately, I'm getting demotivated on that as well. Because right now, the movement code is great. I have to fix a couple bugs and refine it, but for the most part, I really like it. It's fun, but it's great for me. I really enjoy just moving around in the game, which is good because it's a movement-based game. But I'm at a point where I need to start animating, making art and 3D models. And I'm realizing more and more that the art side, and specifically animating humans from the waist down, legs are where I get hung up on. It never looks right. For me, at least. It looks okay. But because the animations I need to do for City of Neon, because right now I'm using Unreal Engine built-in animations, and I want to use my own animations just to put my own mark on it. I want to make sure that run animation is really good. I want to make several variations of it, so on and so forth. I've gotten to the point in that project where I'm at that point of making animations and 3D models and stuff, and I don't think my skill is up to the task currently to work on it. And so, because of that, I'm losing motivation on it. So what do I do instead? I posted a while ago that I had been running a D&D campaign for 2.5 years. It's a seafaring campaign, pirates, Age of Sail, that sort of thing. We finished that campaign a couple months ago, probably around the time when I made that post. And I have been working for over 3 or 4 years on that campaign. And my original idea for it was a supplement for D&D 5th edition. And a lot of it is gamified, which I know a lot of people don't like their D&D games. They like to have realistic sort of games. So that was kind of holding me back from doing that. But I did a lot of work on this campaign, and I was like, how do I want to translate this into something that more people can enjoy? And during my making this campaign, I had made a random encounter roller script in Python. And I was looking at it, and I realized this is kind of a game unto itself. I started thinking about it. I was like, wait, I have done so much work on this campaign, and it's all kind of game mechanics and all this other stuff. What if I take this from spreadsheets and notes and pseudocode and turn it into a real full game? So I don't need on-foot combat. It's a seafaring game. You're on ships, you're moving around, that sort of thing. All the stuff I had made up for this campaign was about the ships and the ship combat, the ship upgrading, the trading, the world building, all this other stuff. And it was tacked onto the D&D on-foot combat. And I was like, I don't need on-foot combat. The only time in this game that I would need on-foot combat is boarding a ship or fighting on an island. And I thought about it, I was like, I can skip that. Go up to the enemy ship, you say board, and a dust cloud appears, boom, 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 and whoever wins, wins. Obviously, there's going to be like a simulation behind the scenes, you know, whatever. But I don't need on-foot combat. You take out the on-foot combat, you very quickly run out of things that I'm taking from D&D 5th edition into this game. And I'm like, that's really cool that I have all this stuff that's my own that I can do it. So anyway, the other side of this is the art. If you're so worried about animation and making art, why did you decide to start working on the seafaring game instead? Would this be any better than City of Neon on the art side? I love animating objects, and I love like cloth sims and smoke sims, special effects basically. And I realized the boats would be a single bone basically. If I'm not having people, physical models of people, I don't have to worry about that. I can do that. I have half the work done, and I've had 5 great playtesters for the past 2.5 years. I can make this game, and it's going to be much less stressful, and it's going to be a much better first game. You shouldn't make your perfect game for your first game, and that's very quickly becoming apparent to me. So, yeah, I'm putting City of Neon off to the side for now. I might work on it a bit more, get it into a publicly playable state, and I might put the, I guess, essentially tech demo on itch.io. I might do that. If you guys be interested in that, let me know. I would love to get more hands on it to get more testing done on it, but don't expect that. But for now, City of Neon's being put to the side. And I'm going to start working on Seafaring game, and the working title is Reaper's Sea. Those are the main three things. So what am I working on next? I have IRL stuff I'm working on. Not all my time is focused on YouTube. I'm sorry, but that's just the way it is. So if it's not Blender Builds, if it's not City of Neon, and it's not Rules of Susano, and it's not any of the other things I have said are not going to happen, what is going to happen? Main thing, I want to work on animations. I really enjoy doing like short 20-30 second animations. They're quick, they work well with my Squirrel with a Gun brain. Takes me maybe a couple days to do them, and I like them. Little short stories, even if they're silent. Look forward to that. Like I said earlier, the play sessions. The nice thing about that is I can record them, and then I can chop them up whenever I want to, and then you get the entire series maybe all at once or over the course of a few days. Who knows? We'll see. I'll have to see how it works. Final thing is you're now going to get updates on Reaper's Sea. They might be more community posts than videos, but I will post a video on it if I think it's in a good playable state and there's something interesting to look at. Yeah, so look forward to that. Animations, main thing, look forward on this channel. Maybe some gameplay sessions, and Reaper's Sea updates. And the last thing I want to go into is kind of my philosophy on this channel. Because I think a lot of people, when they look to a YouTube channel, they think, I go to this YouTube channel for just one thing. And that's the one thing they go to for the entire channel. I know when Second Wind was at Escapist, a lot of people just were there for zero punctuation. A lot of people will make their channel focused around one thing that they do really well and then just run with it. I can't do that. Like I said, Squirrel with a Gun, I can't focus on one thing for a very long time, but I also can't do the same thing forever. It's just not in my nature. I like experiencing new things. I like learning new things. I like having a varied, I guess, lifestyle, if that makes sense. You know, it's like I like trying a whole bunch of different things in life and learning new things. You know, it's always good to learn. And so that kind of is reflected in my channel. Whatever I post on this channel is going to be whatever I'm interested in at the time. And it could be something completely different from normal, or it could be something similar to what I do. You know, I can't even say that animations is going to be always a staple of this channel. I would like it to be. I like making animations. In the description of my channel, it says, I dabble in everything, and I'm a master at none of them. But on this channel, I make animations and stuff about 3D modeling with the occasional video game clip. And that rings true. I have a couple things that I switch between, and you kind of never, it's like a grab bag, you know? You never know what you're going to find on this channel, which I think is kind of cool. For those who are looking for something consistent, maybe my channel's not for you, but at the same time, if you're looking for any of the stuff that I do on and off, maybe you can find one of those things to get into. I do what I feel like doing. Squirrel with a Gun. So, yeah. And I really want to apologize to everyone who was expecting any of the things on the crossed out list. I don't think many people were, but you never know. And I also really apologize to people who are looking forward to more Blender Builds videos. I know a lot of you guys subscribe for that. Blender Builds is probably not going to be a staple of the channel moving forward. I'm sorry, I really am, but it's just not feasible. But with that being said, I hope you guys look forward to just more anything. I'm kind of at a crossroads with my channel where it's like I have the whole world is opening up to me. It's like I have so much stuff I want to do. I have so many ideas, and I really want to just dig in and start working on videos again. I think there's something that I want you guys to know. Part of the reason that I kind of move from thing to thing is because I had so many ideas. I mean, if you could see the hard drive on my computer of just ideas of stuff I want to make. There's so much of it, and none of it's finished. And I want to finish it. I want most of the stuff to come out to you guys, and you guys can see it. And there's more ideas up here than there is in the hard drive. I have so much stuff that I want to do. There's just not enough time in the world to do it. And I just need the motivation to do it. And I just need to focus on one thing at a time and work on the stuff that I can. Thank you guys for everyone who has watched, commented, subscribed, given feedback, both positive and negative. You guys are great. I appreciate you all, and I hope you stick around for whatever's next. So like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the other side.